it's me, Renee. I'm back. And this will actually be my second Vita video. As yeah, I'm trying to be doing Vita video every day in April. And this is my second one. And yeah, so this year is a kind of big year in Norwegian history because it's 50 years since it became legal to be queer, gay, straight, gay or lesbian or bisexual. Yes, I mean, still for a while, it was still difficult, and yeah, still to this day, there's people who still are beaten up for being gay, but it's allowed, it's legal, and yeah, in Norway, there's lots of different ways that kind of Norwegians are celebrating, like for a year. The National Museum, so in the National Library, is doing like lots of different stuff. They have among them a podcast about the history of queerness in Norway and what have you. So I decided to one thing I kind of wanted to do in association with this, like I do try to generally read queer books, not just like for pride, but like generally through the year. Last year I had a point to try to read at least one queer book every month. I think I did pretty good with that. I'm not sure how I could have done it this year so far. I haven't really checked it out. But like, yeah, I would say like more in general, I've read kind of more queer books lately than I've been like last few years. Like, I think like the second you think about how many books you read by queer authors or with queer protagonists, and you look back on the statistic, just becoming aware of it and kind of thinking more about it kind of makes it easier to change. And yeah, you have change happen slowly. But yeah, like I would say 5 years ago I didn't read that many, but now I think I read quite a lot really. But anywho, because of this 50-year anniversary for legalization of loving who you want to love in Norway, I'm decided I've decided I want to read 50. Okay, that's weird. 50, like 5, and then kind of yeah. You see my symbolism. 50 queer reads in this year. So I have a list of some books that I kind of want to read I haven't read yet. And yeah, these reads can be both non-fiction and fiction. Although the only thing kind of what's the word again? The only kind of beginning stuff. The only kind of rule I have myself is that, well, I suppose it's kind of difficult with non-fiction, but like with fiction, I want it to be HIA, so happily ever after, right? Like reading books about gay dying or being killed. I don't want to read it. Like that book that's kind of everywhere, that's been everywhere for a few years now. A kind of huge book about the impossibility of me, or yeah, there's this book about this gay dude who gets raped and beaten and over again. Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not gonna read books solely because they're queer. I'm gonna read books that interest me and are queer. But yeah, so I kind of want to tell you the books that I have on my list here. But sadly, the list isn't complete. I don't have 50 books on my list here. So, if you have any recommendations for non-fiction, for fiction, uh, with queer, like at the focus, please give them to me. And yeah, so I'm gonna tell you which ones I have. I have Golden Boys. As always, I've forgotten the to write down the authors, but I'm gonna write down. I'm gonna link it down below in the doobly-doo. So yeah, and some of this you probably know who they are, but yeah, Golden Boys, which is why a contemporary came out last year, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have Stonewall Reader, which is a non-fiction book about the Stonewall riots. Here for It, which I don't remember what that is. I think it's romance. Yeah, I made this list a few weeks ago, so I'm kind of like thinking, huh, what's that book? Which, I mean, it's fun to be surprised. But yeah, a romance in Marseille. The Queen's English, which the Queen's English, remember, is a non-fiction about queer terms, and I think queer history, but it's based around the UK anyway. Then we have The Vanished Birds, which I have actually over there. I kind of started to plan to read it soon, so that might happen soon. But yeah, also like this goal, it's for the whole of year, even though Pride is in June in the States, and actually in September in Norway. Pride is actually in September here in Norway, August or September, and like I think I heard someplace that there's actually more or less a Pride parade every month of the year except November, I think. So I mean, people have Pride things around the world at different places and times. This is of course different around the world, but like at different times. And yeah, but the Stonewall happened in June, but I mean you have other times as well. But yeah, the goal is to read the whole year, not like until June, but the whole year. Under the yeah, Under the Rainbow, which I don't remember what this book is about, so that's interesting. Some Girls Do, which a romance, I'm thinking. And then we have The Guncle, which came out last year. You might think it's a romance, but this one is actually not. It's about this summer where this uncle of three, he lives, I think, in LA or something, and then suddenly his sister comes and just kind of throws the kids to his responsibility. So he has to be a cool gunkle or gay uncle, a cool uncle for this summer because the mom is kind of having some trouble. So I think it's kind of, yeah, he's gay, but I don't think it's a romance. It's more like he's gay and he has family. And I suppose there might be some romance in it, but it's not like a romance book. And yeah, I've heard very good things about it. Came up last year. And then we have Whoa, No Thank You, which I think is a lesbian love story. I don't remember anything more about. So that's interesting. And then we have Burn It All Down, which don't remember what it is. So that's fun for me too, like doing this video because I made this list and a few weeks ago I knew all about these stuff. Now I don't remember. Which surprise, and that's fun. And then we have kind of a mix, like it's several books, but it's Cassandra Clare's historical reads because she has several books that I haven't read all of hers, but she has a series that came out. Well, the last series, the one with Will and Tessa's kids. There's 2 books in that series that came out a few years ago now, and the third one is coming out this year, I think. And I do know that one of them is by the characters, and one I think is lesbian, and yeah. And then we have a Norwegian series, so I'm just kind of wrote it down. So it's Benny and the 1 and 2. Sorry, Benny 2 and 3, because I don't know why I said Benny 1 here, because I read the first one. Oh, okay. So at this point in time, there's 3 books in this middle grade. Yeah, quite fun middle grade series with a gay protagonist. The first book is set around Christmas. Second one is around Halloween, and the third one has aliens in it. And yeah, it's a very fun story, and I can't wait to read the second 2. And then we have Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. I mean, that one everyone always have heard about, and I mean the author is kind of well known. But yeah, all about trans witches, and yeah, that sounds very cool. And then we have we have 2 Norwegian non-fiction books about queerness. One being Homo of Anette Trettebergstuen, which is kind of a book all about being gay and gays in Norway, and have a little book about that stuff. And then we have Shave Ut, which is a book about being gay in different places around the world, like if you're traveling, or how still today there's a lot of places in the world where being gay is both dangerous but also illegal. So here in Norway, it's not. Well, I was about to say safe. It's pretty safe. I mean, as I said, people still get harassment for being queer, but it's not illegal. But other places in the world, it's a capital punishment and craziness like that. And now we have Heartstopper by Alice Osman, that series. And that, my dear friends, is where kind of this list ends. So I recently saw one title that kind of looked cool, but I haven't really put it on my list yet. So yeah, that's my list, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is a list of 20 books. So I have 30 more titles to add to this if I'm going to get to 50. So yeah, if you know any fun queer reads, it can be a middle grade, it can be a picture book, it can be a YA book, adult book, it can be fiction, non-fiction. As long, and my only requirement is that it's not that if it's a fiction, it has a HAA, happily ever after, or happy for now. Or that and that's not a horror, because I won't touch horror books. No, I will touch most books, but not horror books. And that it has some humor in it. Like, I pick up most books from different genres except horror, but I don't pick up a book that's dry and no humor in it. No, that's something I'm allergic to. I don't want that. So yeah, and I'll see you soon. And hopefully you give me some fun little recommendations that I haven't thought of. Or yeah. And yeah, bye.